Is your demanding work lifestyle in need of fire-resistant clothing that can keep up? Well, L4FR clothing should be your go-to for quality, affordability, safety, and style. L4FR was founded by a third-generation oil field worker who is also a veteran. Thus, this company has a deep appreciation for reliability and longevity, all while we provide first-rate customer service. Our durable apparel will serve you well for many years to come, whether you're working on a pipeline, a lineman climbing utility poles, or in any other environment requiring fire-resistant apparel. L4FR has you covered. Our apparel is tough enough to resist hazardous conditions while still providing high comfort and style. L4FR provides clothing options to ensure your safety and comfort, whether you're on the job or not. To view our complete inventory of flame-resistant garments, please visit our online store at L4FRclothing.com or give us a call at 817-757-4935. Si habla español.
Struggling with mobility, chronic pain, work, or sports injury? At Azalea Orthopedics, our team of highly trained physicians specialize in complete orthopedic care, pain management, sports medicine, physical medicine, and rehabilitation. If you've sustained a bone or joint injury, have mobility or movement problems, struggle with pain, contact Azalea Orthopedics. We're conveniently located across East Texas, serving 18 counties. When visiting your doctor, urgent care, or hospital, you have a choice. Demand Azalea. At Azalea Orthopedics, your health is our priority.
Welcome, everyone, to our first edition of the bEast from the East podcast. It's your boy, Brett Swinney here. Alongside of me, some other NetSN personalities we got with us. We got the coach, Jeremy Hubbard. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you, sir.
We got Prince V83, Mr. Vincent Johnson. What's going on, Vince?
What's up?
We got our intern, Claire, and her dad, one of the voices of NetSN, Keith Whitman. How's it going, y'all, too?
How's it going?
The golden voice.
That's me.
And last but certainly not least, it's the man, CM Corey Marshall. What's going on, Corey?
What's going on?
Not much.
Hashtag we want Corey.
We're going to start that up this year again. Hashtag
Yes, we are. We've already talked about that today.
Yes, sir. So let's just talk about this show first off, guys and ladies. We're going to have this every week. This podcast, you will be listening to this on Wednesday morning. We'll go over this week's Friday, Thursday, Saturday, whatever games that we have this week, the top 10 games of East Texas that we see fit to have our pick'em contest from. So hopefully if you're listening to this and you haven't made your picks yet, go out there, take our advice or not. You may want to go against us and get your picks in, and we'll have a weekly winner each week, and we'll have a prize at the end of the season. Guys, how excited are you to do some picks today?
I'm ready.
I'm just excited to win.
Yeah.
I'm excited to win. You're looking at a new pick'em champ this year.
And you're going to be disappointed.
Oh, wait.
You should
Does
start
that mean
with the smoke.
I need to pull over my belt and show everybody
Yeah.
back-to-back
Oh,
pick'em
that's
champ
cute,
here?
Brett. We'll let your son let you.
I had him sweating a little bit last year. Don't worry. I had him sweating.
No, Derek made me sweat a little bit on the fan side, but yeah, Vince was close there for a while. I kind of like
What's
tease him.
that
Like,
Paul Walker said? I almost had you.
I tease you and let you kind of back in for a minute, just so I could then I could just run away with it and just crush your dreams.
Oh, okay.
So.
I think week 1 picks are fun because you really have had a long time to be thinking about them. You don't really know.
Mm-mm.
We think we know, but we don't know on some of these.
Yeah, week 1 is always up in the air.
So it's exciting, but it's also a little scary. Maybe if it doesn't go over well, we can just get rid of this first episode and go to week 2. But we'll see. But I hope you got my belt ready to hand over at the end of the show. I've already told you twice today, Brett. It's mine.
Trevor said, "I hope you got my belt."
Already going, man.
All right, so we got our. Let's start with game 1, North Forney White House. Guys, I'm going with White House. They've got 8 returning on both sides of the ball this season. I look for them to be pretty competitive in that district. I know they knocked off Texas High last year. I see them kind of going at it with Texas High for that district championship this year. And as hard as this is to pick, the Chapel Hill boy picking White House, I just think that they're going to take care of North Forney in week 1. What you guys got?
I'm going to go White House. Yeah, I'm going to go White House too, Vince. Sorry to cut you off. I think
no, you're fine.
The 8 starters on both sides is a big deal, but I think more importantly, the jumps they made last year at times, while it may not have been just a huge jump, it was enough to see that in Westerberg's second year that you should expect even bigger things with what they did going forward. And North Forney, a team that was 3-7 last year, they're not going out and playing Allen or DeSoto this week. It's North Forney, and no offense to those guys, but I think White House probably gets the year off to a great start.
Well, and White House having, like you said, it's second year, and just the momentum that they have off of their first year under him and coming into it. And of course, Bray, you're a Chapel Hill boy, and I may work at Chapel Hill, but I'm a White House boy.
So it doesn't matter if they were playing Allen this week. Keith's got White House.
Yeah, I'm White House boy all the way through. But it is. They have a momentum coming in, and so White House is just they're going to come in and everything's going to be firing, and especially after their scrimmage last week and putting those touchdowns in on Lindale and having a good ending of their scrimmage preseason, and they're going to be firing on all cylinders, and they're going to take this one.
Corey, what you got?
Oh, is it me? Whose house? White House. I hate saying that. I hated that shit.
Oh, Corey.
However, I did pick White House over North Forney. I'm not going over East Texas school. Y'all know how I do. White House over North Forney.
So White House. So you're also one of those. It's White House versus Duncanville. You take White House.
I'm taking East Texas, man. I gotta pick East Texas over the Masters.
So Jeremy, here, get ready for the excuses as the year goes on. He's gonna be like, well, I picked them because they're East Texas. But
I was gonna beg you to. I'm gonna send you some games to put on the pick 'em for the next couple of weeks so we can get Corey out of the way pretty early.
We got to knock him out. Yeah.
But however, I still hold the upset meter. I am very good at the upset meter. I'll let you know when it happens.
What are you upset?
First and foremost, I'm not going to hold nobody, but let's just get this out the way. Corey likes to pick one team, and he swears that team is going to lose one game. He don't know when.
3 out of 7 last year.
So every week he's going to say that team is going to lose.
2 years ago,
and so when it happens, he's like, "Oh, well, I told y'all it was going to happen." You waited 9 weeks to tell us that.
But it happened.
You waited
but
9
it
weeks.
happened.
You picked wrong 9 weeks.
So there's the story. Argyle 2 years ago, Corey picked them to lose 4 or 5 straight weeks. They finally lost, and then he said, "Oh, that was my upset pick." Well, you had picked them. Yeah. I mean, eventually they've got to lose.
Actually, it wasn't 4 or 5 straight weeks. This is what happened. They had 2 close games. They had 2 close games.
Oh, here we go.
They had 2 close games 2 weeks in a row. And I said there's a barely win theory. You cannot barely win against a good team or against a decent team and win the next week. And they lost.
So it's
That's what happened.
Blind squirrel finds a nut every once in a while,
It's
Corey.
not a theory.
Oh man,
It's okay. It's okay. It's
all right, guys.
It's okay.
We all got our picks in. Let's let intern.
Hey, intern Claire didn't get her pick yet.
I'm sorry, Claire. Go ahead.
I did pick White House, but not because of their football team. One of my really close friends, her name is Chloe. She's the head twirler for White House's twirl team, and so that is why I picked White House.
Hey, that's as good
whatever
as
works.
Reason as
better than Corey.
Blink twice if you would threaten.
Take notes, Corey. Take notes. She's dropping dimes.
Oh, okay. All right.
Let's
At least
go.
our system is solid.
Let's go to game 2, and I think this one. This is a big one right here. It's one of the biggest games. I know it's the biggest game on Thursday night in East Texas this week. But Timpson, Beckfield, guys. I've only got one thing to say why I'm picking Timpson. Bussing them boys. I know Corey is going to go there too. I don't see. I know we talked a little bit about Beckfield. I know, Jeremy, you could have a chance to redeem yourself here with a Beckfield pick. We talked about this on our poll show last week, but I just don't see Beckfield just doesn't have Terry Bussey, and that's why Timpson knocks off Beckfield.
I'm going to go ahead and double down, and I'm going to tell you that North Forney is going to lose by less points than Beckfield is going to lose on Thursday night. It's not just Bussey, but it's Howard. I mean, it's two. You legitimately have two Division I players at that level. And Beckville has some guys, right? I mean, they're not a team that's going to go 3-7. They're not going to go 4-6. But we're talking about we talked about this on the poll show. I'm not going to get into it again. Terry Bussey is a Power 5, SEC, Big 12, Big 10 Division I player, and you can't stop that unless you have it yourself. And I just don't see a way that Beckville wins the game. I took Timpson, and last year they beat him by 31. I think it's going to be. It may not be 31, but it's. North Forney is going to lose by less than Beckville. I'll tell you that right now, Corey.
I mean, I got Timpson. I you know what, man? Beckville is good. I hate that because Beckville is really, really good, but man, Timpson got Bussey, and you watch highlights of Bussey, like we talked about on the show. I'm not trying to repeat it, but it's like a creative player. Like I don't know how you stop that. I don't know how you plan for that. Like he even on busted plays, he's able to execute. So yeah, I'm rolling with Timpson.
I'll tell you, I just picked Timpson, and I don't know much about either of these teams. I just picked Timpson because I know they're a good team, and I figured they would take it to Beckville. So I don't have a solid. Their band's probably good too. I don't know. Intern Claire could probably tell you.
So I picked Beckville for the sole reason of their two head drum majors. I went to drum major camp with, and their head drum major was my line leader, and so being friends with Brennan, I just felt compelled to pick Beckville. I don't know how their their football program is, but whatever.
Intern Claire is going to kick all our behinds this week.
Man, if Beckville wins this game,
we're going to change all of our
strategy for picking games then.
Yes.
Well, here's my thing.
Listen, but anytime you can listen, people don't know how hard band camp is. I'm gonna let you know it is rough. It is a rough time out there. It is hot, and it is, especially the military band. It is rough. So, but if she picks Beckville, I'm definitely going with Timpson. However, I will say this: there is a myth. I heard someone say that they saw Terry Bussey throw a pass to himself. Kid you not. I'm lying, by the way. He threw the pass up and he caught it in the end zone by himself in the scrimmage. I'm just saying. So I got to go with Timpson. So good of an athlete he is.
All right, this next one, I'm gonna let our coach lead off with this next one. We got Grapevine Faith versus Brookhill. Coach, what I know what you're picking here. I surely know what you're picking.
I mean, yeah, it's pretty. I feel like Kirk Herbstreit now when he's calling a game and he can't make it. I mean, of course, we know who I'm going to pick here. I like my job. I can't hide. I've said it about other schools, so I'm not going to hide from it on our end either. I mean, they came to our place last year and just stuck it to us, and they stuck it to us pretty good. They beat us by 40, and it was one of those things to where as things went poorly, they continued to go poorly, and it just snowballed on us. And I know this. We're in a much better spot than we were a year ago. Talent, you can say what you want to about talent. I don't know, but I think we're in a lot better shape than we were last year. I think we're more mentally prepared than we were last year at this point. And I think it's a credit to our kids and what they've done. And they got some speed, man. They've got 2-10, two sub 10-7, 10-6 guys. One of them plays quarterback, one of them plays receiver. And so you have the task of keeping the quarterback in the pocket, and you got to keep a receiver in front of you that nobody on the field can catch. So it'll be interesting. I think defensively we got a good game plan. Offensively, if we can execute and control the clock a little bit, then I think we have a shot to go in there and get the win. It's a school that's got us the last 2 times we played, so we're trying to figure it out this week.
All right.
Okay.
By the way, don't feel bad picking against us. I kind of like it actually.
Yeah. I picked Brook Hill, and mainly for reasons, and I knew that they had lost that one pretty bad last year against them, but mainly for payback purposes. Not only for the fact that Brook Hill, and this isn't to blow smoke, but it is. Brook Hill's a good, solid team. They've had winning seasons over the last, I think, 3 or 4, maybe more years, and they came off that loss last year, just had a great season. But I think they're looking for payback. They're looking to go into that their home and smoke them as well. Just look like what happened to them last year. So I think it's a payback thing, and I think they are a solid team, and they'll go in there and show what they're made of, and kind of give them the payback that they deserve.
Yeah, I'm gonna go.
I kind of agree with Whitman that it's a payback thing.
Yeah.
To me, and getting a chance to meet you guys and the kids and stuff like that, it added to my layer of confidence in what you guys are capable of doing. So that's really what it boiled down to me. I think that they're going to be looking for some payback because that was one of the worst games y'all had last year, I think.
Man, it's honestly, other than some games with Dallas Christian, it's probably the worst loss I've been a part of in
take
7
the Dallas
years.
Christian out,
Truthfully.
Absolutely. So
especially being at home.
I felt like it would be one of those things that this is one of those games that's going to be a little bit personal.
Yeah. Well,
because you didn't play your best, so obviously you want to show your best the next time you see them.
Absolutely.
Well, when you get beat 2 times in a row by a team, it's kind of like it's one of those that you really pinpoint on your schedule. It's like, we really want that payback. I've covered some games in the past with Chapel Hill, and Kilgore was like that for a while, man. Just like or Lindale, both. Like they just beat them every time, and it's like eventually it's going to turn around. I know Jeremy said the death of 2 kids, but 2 kids as a team does not make. And I think Brook Hill's overall team scheme and they're willing to want to get the revenge. I'm going with Brook Hill too. I think they get the revenge. They go into their house hungry, and they come out with a win. They steal one on the road.
Yeah. Corey, what you got? You didn't say nothing.
Well, we know Corey's going to pick. If he goes by his theory, we know he's pick.
You know what?
Your theory. If an East Texas team faces a non-East Texas team, I go with the East Texas.
That's not a theory. That's just a preference.
That's CM
East Texas team versus non-Texas. That's just my preference.
That's
the way I
However,
number 122.
It's not a theory. That's a preference. I'm picking the East Texas school over the non-East Texas school. It's a preference. Come on, now you gotta get it right. Now, what I'm saying is this: I'm picking Brook Hill. I gotta always chant BH, like CH, BH. But anyway, either way it goes, I'm picking Brook Hill. I'm a component of payback, right? You don't forget the last time the team smacked you, and you hope it leaves a bad taste in your mouth. And I'm a component of that. And all week long, like I said, I tell the story all the time. Because Marlon, Sam used to play the SFA, and to get to the semifinal, get to the finals. The last time we played SFA at Johnson Coliseum, this guy from SFA had his little jersey up and had SFA on it and beat us by a buzzer beater. And Coach Marlon had us hang all of those, pictures on the wall. And it's like, when you know the opponent, all you had to do is go and win the basketball game. So guess what? They circle back, play us again, beat them by like 20 points. And the last time you got smacked, you know what I'm saying? Last time you lost, you use that as motivation. So, hey, Brook Hill's coming up. I'm telling you, watch it. They're going to smack them. I'm telling you, hey, I'm hyped up a little bit now.
I appreciate it. I appreciate it. You know, and here's the thing.
Let's
Like,
go.
you're right, Corey. You know, we as coaches, we do use that as motivation for our kids. But I
Oh
think
yeah.
the great news for us is our kids have gotten to that point without us having to tell them. And to me, that says a lot about where we're going to be, because to them it's personal. As coaches, it's personal,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's what basically when we get beat by 40 as coaches, it's personal, because now it looks like those grown men can do their job that much better than us grown men. So it's personal on a lot of different things, right? So, you know, we'll see. You know, we may be sitting here next week and you guys may call me a liar, but I do feel confident that it's all those things are working together for us.
All right, intern Claire, what do you got?
So I've never heard of Grapevine Faith, and obviously I've heard of Brick Hill, so I just went Brick Hill.
Hey, that's
Solid
enough
theory.
right there.
There you go.
VH.
All
I
right.
know Mr. Steve, so I kind of felt obligated to go Brick Hill.
Okay. All right. Game 4. ARP Joaquin. Guys, if I have one that I might consider an upset pick of the week, this is the one I'm going with. Coach Minky and the Tigers. I think in year 2 he's going to turn some heads. They got a lot of talent coming back. I know, but Joaquin beat them last year. But I'm looking for another revenge game here. I think ARP's going to knock off Joaquin. Maybe one of the shockers around here in this area. At least for some people. To me, it's not, but I think it may shock some people.
Yeah.
Well, and I'm with you, Brett. I picked ARP, and mainly just because I know that ARP they're a scrap team, and they're tough to beat. And so I picked them just because not really as an upset, but I guess it is. But to the extent that I've seen ARP play, and I know their heart, and I know how hard they can fight, and I think that they can pull this one out. And it is week 1. You know, if it was later in the year and it was more solid and you could see a little bit more, but first game, you know, everybody just brings it all out. And I just think that ARP is going to go in there and play their hearts out.
You know, I brought this up on the show last week. The one advantage, and I picked Joaquin to win the game, but I think that the one advantage ARP has is it is week 1, as Keith mentioned, and you've had this whole time to prepare for that offense. We talked about that last week on the poll show. It's Joaquin is difficult to prepare for in a 1-week situation. You've had a while to look at it. You know what they do. You've seen film. You've had a chance to put some more of that in through the summer, through fall camp and all those things. I still think Joaquin's better, and that's not to knock ARP. I think I told you guys this the other night. I think Joaquin's a really good football team. I think they got a chance to make a little run, but I think ARP makes it closer. You know, last year I think it was a 34-point game, 48-14 or something like that. I think ARP makes it closer. I think it's a more competitive game for all the reasons you guys are saying, and the fact that it's week 1 and they've had a chance to get ready for the offense a little bit.
I picked Joaquin. Sorry, Coach Minky. I see, you know, watching them play, it's hard not to like Joaquin.
Same.
So, but you know, and you know we love Coach Minky. But I'm sorry, Coach. That's all I can say. I'm sorry.
Oh wait, my phone just rang.
Hey, he's like, wait a minute.
They just
I remember
canceled
that Johnson kid from back in the day.
They just canceled our game coverage that week that we have. I'm just kidding.
Vince basically just said roll tide.
I won't say that. I won't do that.
All right, Corey, you got.
I'm going with ARP. I got to pick the ARP Tigers. Now I'm gonna tell you this. Just piggyback on what Jeremy said. So there is no coach that celebrates more than the coach that had the prep that week. He had the scouting report and the prep that week, and you actually get a win. There is no coach that celebrates more than that. So that one guy that had to break down the film and figure out a game plan, and they get a win, he is on cloud 10 until Monday. Promise you that. He's going to hold it down for a little while. He's going to hold all that composure down. When he gets home, he's going to celebrate. That's the best. That is. And then if he's a Cowboy fan, the Cowboys eventually win. He's just had the best weekend of his life. I promise you. But he can't go 2 for 2. Cowboys not going that much anyway. But I'm going for ARP. I think they come out with the upset over Joaquin. Even though I picked Joaquin high, that is a good upset pick right there. I think Art's going to be a lot better than what people think they are.
All right, intern Claire.
So I picked ARP, but I mean, I go to Troop, which
Wow,
that is,
I'm
sorry.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
We can edit this out.
That's like
you
White House
you
or
can't go back to
White
school
House.
now. Like
Yeah, and those are like our
I
model
mean, maroon is maroon. As long as you got a maroon tiger on, you can be okay.
Nah, that ain't how they feel.
that's
No,
like
no.
color maroon or something. I think I don't know.
which is honestly kind of surprising. I'm not that big a fan of core bands, but ARP is a core band, and I've got multiple friends as football players there and multiple band students there that I'm friends with. And so I kind of just felt the need to pick ARP, but I also don't know where Joaquin is. So
Louisiana.
Yeah.
Basically.
I went with ARP.
Yeah. Half of it's in Louisiana, half of it's in Texas. It just depends on where you are.
Geography.
All right, game 5. Let's go with that one. We got Pleasant Grove Brock. This is kind of as far as names go, these two names that you talk about that are powerhouses in Texas high school football, not from the same area at all. And this is an interesting game. I like Pleasant Grove. To me, and I've talked about this a little bit in our preseason show with them. I just think this is their year. Like they bringing back 17 starters, 9 and 8, and they've got probably 7 or 8 D1 prospects on their team, and they're loaded this year. And we've talked about that other team in their region that's very good every year, but I just think Pleasant Grove this year is a team that's looking to make a deep run and getting over that hump. And so they're starting off week 1 against Brock. I know Brock, went to the state championship game last year. But I think Pleasant Grove's just going to take care of them in week 1 here. And that's all I got on that one. What do you guys got?
I have the same. I have Pleasant Grove, and mainly because they have the athletes. Brett and I had a chance to go see him in baseball playoffs last year, and just the caliber of athlete that they have there at Pleasant Grove is just phenomenal. And the fact that they have so many players coming back is just it's going to be fantastic. And I picked Pleasant Grove just for the ability that they have on the field that they can bring.
Pleasant Grove. I mean, Pleasant Grove is stacked, man. They tough. There ain't no other reason. They're just tough to beat.
Well, Pleasant Grove went 11-3 last year. Brock went 11-5. Of course, made it to the end. They started out 0-4. They got hot at the end. They go 11-1 to end the year. They beat Whitesboro. They beat Malakoff, 2 teams that we know are really good. They lost to Franklin by 3 at the end. And, man, it's just hard to pick against them, but I'm going to. We'll go Pleasant Grove. But if there's one I'm probably the least – I don't want to say the least confident in, but this was kind of a hard one. If I'd have picked it today, I probably would have thought a little more about it than I did when I picked it originally. But I'll go with Pleasant Grove. I think they're – with what you guys are saying, they got the guys and they got the studs. But both teams are going to be really talented. I think it's going to be a really close game. I think last year was 28-7. I bet Brock has some things figured out. You don't start 0-4 if everything's right. Something wasn't right last year when it started, and so I think it'll be closer, but I think Pleasant Grove could win.
Okay. I'll pick Brock.
You were one of the 18
really
people that picked
There you
Brock.
go.
Hey guys, it's Brock.
The dissenting
You
view.
know, and I'm thinking
Is that an
that's
East Texas
upset.
team?
That's that up. That is that upset. That is the upset.
No, I need you to
looked at
answer
it, I
Whitman's
stared at
question.
it.
I need you to answer Whitman's
Stared at
question.
it.
Stop what
you
you're
know,
saying
it is an East
and answer
Texas team.
Whitman's
It is an
question.
East Texas. It is an East Texas team.
Brock
But
is an East Texas team.
But I'm like,
Geography is hard.
I feel like that's that one upset that just happened, and then they're gonna play in Pleasant Grove. So
He does think Centerville's in East Texas, by the way.
Yeah. And see.
I don't know, man. I honestly, to be 1,000% honest with you, I was supposed to pick Pleasant Grove, and I look back on my sheet, and I'm like, why did I pick Brock? And I was like, I couldn't change it, so I'm like, I'm just gonna live with the lie at this point. Like I was supposed to pick Pleasant Grove, but I picked Brock. But I'm just gonna make it sound like I picked Pleasant.
And I'm proud that you stuck with it there. You got that stick-to-itiveness that you just kept going, brother. That's nice.
Right.
I got big thumbs too, Corey. I got big thumbs. Sometimes it happens, man. You just hit the wrong button. I get it.
And I was like,
he was in a hurry.
You know how many times I've called the wrong person? I've called the wrong person a lot. It happens.
All right, intern Claire, who you got?
I have Pleasant Grove because I know where that is.
All right.
It's in East Texas, Corey.
You know, they don't ask how, they ask how many, I guess. It doesn't really matter why you pick them. It works, I guess.
Exactly. There you go.
Yeah. Game 6, Jacksonville, Sulphur Springs. I think this could be a really good game. I'm going with Sulphur Springs just because Jacksonville has been down. I know Coach Holman is doing a good job there, but I just don't think they're quite there. Sulphur Springs this year, I think they're going to be a pretty solid team. And so I'm going to go with Sulphur Springs in this one. What do you guys got?
Well, I don't have that. I picked Jacksonville, and there's a couple of reasons. One, I really, I never. Jacksonville's a tough team, no matter how bad they are, if that makes sense. But Jacksonville's always a tough team to play. I've never liked Sulphur Springs in the first place. But if this is going to be an upset pick, this is going to be my upset pick, I guess you can say. But Jacksonville's a tough team. They got, that legacy quarterback there in Jacksonville that they breed, the McCowans over there. But they just got a good, a solid team, and they're scrappy. They're just tough to play. And, it's like I said, and it's going back to that first game of the season. Everybody's just gunning for somebody, and why not the Wildcats in Sulphur Springs and just taking it to them? So my pick is Jacksonville on this one.
I got Sulphur Springs. I think Jacksonville is a tough team to beat, though. I actually got to watch Jacksonville play a little bit last year, and I do like their team. I just think Sulphur Springs is a little bit tougher. So nothing special there.
Maybe you don't know this. I live in the Ville. I live in Jacksonville. And they're not going to get it done. Sulphur Springs is going to win the game. They do have some nice pieces. You mentioned the quarterback, Brady McCown, does a great job. They just over the last few years have really struggled to put it together. I mean, it's been a rough stretch for them, and I don't, from what I hear and what I see, I'm not sure that it's completely over yet. I hope it is. I know a lot of people that play for them and know some of the coaches there, and I hope they can figure it out. I just don't know if it's there yet, and I'm going to go with Sulphur Springs.
Yeah.
Okay. Corey?
I think it's there. I pick them for the upset. And I'm going to give Jacksonville their due. It's two teams that I traditionally like in East Texas. Lufkin, I don't think they stay down very long. I told you about this with the show last year. Lufkin, when have they just been bad ever? They just had a bad 5 or 6 year run. Maybe, eventually they kind of kick it back up where Lufkin's Lufkin again. And Jacksonville hadn't been Jacksonville in a long time. Let's just call it what it is, call a spade. But they were competitive to a point last year. And I just think injuries plagued them late in the season. They're one of my picks to try to vie for the playoffs. I think, this is what it is. Sometimes it just takes that one win to get you there. And maybe this is that win that gets them there. I know it's a tough game to play, but maybe this is that one win that gets them. Maybe they put it all together for just 1 week, and this is that week. I always call it week 1, WEAK 1, week 1. And then, of course, there's no tape. So you have no tape on everybody at this point. You got scrimmages, but you know how to game plan. Coach Jim, you know how to game plan. You're not going to show everything during the week. You're going to run the same 5 plays over and over again in the scrimmage. And so, you waiting for everything to happen. And if you're a coach, you want this to, I'm going to come out and compete. I'm going to give my best shot, everything that first game, that first scrimmage, and see what my kids got. And I think they can do that. I think they can compete.
All right, intern Claire.
All right, so here's my philosophy. Last year at FFA area competition, I got third, which means I didn't go to state. First and second go to state. So I'm thinking, I picked Jacksonville, by the way. I'm thinking if their football team wins, the person that was in job interview in FFA last year will lose, and I will make it to state. So that's why I picked Jacksonville.
Oh,
Mm.
Okay.
I like
Put
it.
way too much
Not
thought
mad
into
at
that
that.
one.
Yep.
That was I like it. I like it.
I'm not mad at it.
Yep.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right, game 7, Hooks Harmony. Guys, this is one of the little school big games to start the season. I mean, no love lost between these two schools. Of course, we don't have Kyle with us today, but the Hooks fans did not like him last year. That's for sure. But I'm going with my man Seahorn, the Seahorn connection, the brother Seahorns. I'm going with them this year. I think Harmony's on a mission to prove everybody that last year wasn't a fluke, and I think they take care of Hooks in week 1. So I'm going with Harmony in week 1.
You know, I'm gonna channel my inner Kyle here in honor of KO. Harmony's gonna win a game. You know, after our show last week, we talked about the polls, and I told you guys Harmony's one of the teams I want to see prove it. Like, show us that what you did at the end of last year was for real, and it wasn't, lightning in a bottle, so to speak. I was talking to some other people this week. I won't name names, and told them about this Harmony Hooks game. And basically, what I was told was Hooks is overrated. They're really overrated. I'm gonna go with Harmony. I would have picked Harmony anyway. I picked Harmony long for this week, in case you didn't see my picks went in. I think Harmony's going to win this one. We've talked about they need to win the first couple of games. They need to go 2 out of 3 at least to make us happy. They're going to get the first one out of the way Friday.
I got Harmony. I think they played each other pretty close last year.
Yes, 17-14 in the regular season.
But I feel like I'd be doing a disservice to Kyle if I picked Hooks. That's what it boiled down to. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go with Harmony.
Yeah, and I picked Harmony as well. Just mainly because I know they're a good football team, and I think they're going to take it away.
Corey, give us your philosophy.
I am picking Harmony because of that guy from Boston Seahorn. Got to pick Harmony. I'm rolling with them. Harmony, as you say, the hard eye. We got to pick Harmony. That's what I'm going with.
Okay.
All right, intern Claire.
So I did pick Hooks, because I know some people in Harmony's band program, and the disrespect give. Nope. The disrespect they give to their drum majors and band directors. I do not roll with it.
The disrespect.
Yes.
Disrespect.
Yeah, and so I'm very much for treating people that are older with you just respect, because respect is earned and not just given out. So that is why I went with Hooks.
Okay.
I don't know how we're going to do in our football picks, but I feel much more prepared to wager on band competitions this year.
Man,
hey, she's got it.
I feel like
she's got the inside track.
I was never a part of band, and I'm getting this insight now where I'm like, man, I must have missed out on a lot of drama. Because she believes in it too.
She does.
She's serious.
Listen,
I live with
you
it.
Have no idea. You have no idea.
It's deep and it's real.
3A state marching contest, October 25th this year.
Look, she got
McLean
dates.
Stadium. I'll be there. I'm the drum major for.
She got she got
there.
receipts.
So
she got receipts.
If we're having like a band competition and y'all aren't putting troop at first for 3A state marching competition,
we do a pick 'em for that.
I know.
Don't try me.
This is amazing. It's awesome. I love it. I got to find a bookie that has odds on band competitions.
Honestly, bands are more predictable than if you have a good band. Like, it's almost guaranteed. There is more tradition than anything in band. Like,
it is.
Your reputation precedes you, and it is what it is.
There ought to be
every year, no matter what.
there ought to be some kind of a rating for we should rate teams or schools based on how good their football and their bands are together. Like who's the overall champion if you combine them? My money's probably on Alto first or Atlanta, by the way, a team that I'm high on. But those two, that'd be where I'd start.
How about Chapel Hill's got a good band?
I've never seen.
I'm gonna tell you,
I've never seen them. I don't know.
Lindell's band's always good as well.
Lindell's band's good. I don't know. Henderson's band used to be phenomenal. That's all I'm gonna say.
I know our junior high won state in both things last year. Chapel Hill.
Yeah.
So they've got some good ones coming up too. So
I know White House's band, it was just huge back when I was in high school. They were just massive.
There's
230 people.
They were over 300 when I was in high school. So
we have a new show idea. New show idea now.
There we go.
Yeah.
All right. So let's get on to Game 8 here. This is another one that I really like early.
Oh, and it's close.
Center Tatum.
They're like right beside.
Man, it is
neighbors.
Yeah, I got to talk to our center guys, and I've also talked to Coach Meeks. They've got a lot coming back on offense. So key for him was if they can plug some holes on the defensive side and stop some people, they're going to score a lot of points. And I just the running back Dixon he's a beast. They've got the Cross kid at quarterback returning. Center's going to be a tough out against anyone this year. They're going to give Carthage probably the best game in district by far. In district, Jamie, give me a look like I was going to say state. I said in district.
I'll let you finish. My bad. I overreaction.
In district. Okay, so but I'm going with center. I think they're going to knock Tatum off week 1. Who you guys got?
Yeah, I think that's who gets the win. It's going to be a good game. I believe in two quality head coaches, two guys that have been very successful around it wherever they've been. Center got a close win last year. I just think they're better. I think that the one thing that Center has is even though they're always in the 4A ranks, they've got amazing amount of numbers. I mean, you're talking about a school that's huge. They got a bunch of kids on the sideline. They got a bunch of kids that are great athletes. These are two schools I grew up playing against, honestly. Being from Russ, we play these guys every year, and it's hard to pick either one of them, honestly. But I think Center is the better of the two, at least as we start week 1. Tatum, and look at the history of the starts. Tatum last year started out 0-4, and everybody's questioning whether they should just shut down the program or what. I don't know what y'all were worried about, but
yeah, Vince was wanting to shut Tatum down.
Well, I'm sure there's some schools around that would love for them to shut down too. They can get some kids from them. But I think Center gets the win. I think just historically Center would be ready in week 1.
I think it's going to be a good game. Honestly, looking at the picks here, it looks like this is the closest we have in our pick 'em. It looks like 46 people picked Center and 34 picked Tatum. So that difference is 12. That's the closest we have, and I pick 'em so far. Tatum is a good team. They're really a good team, but man, Center is tough, and I expect for Center to go on and do bigger things outside of this game. So I had to go with Center because I'm looking for Center to do something against Carthage. So
yeah,
that's a pipe dream, but I gotta stand with the lie. I gotta stay with it. So,
and I agree. I see this as being a kickoff point for Center to have a showcase for a season, a great season for him. So I expect him to go out and this to be a rally cry, so to speak, for the season, and I pick them.
Okay.
Corey?
Program versus program. Tatum has a phenomenal program. When you have a good program, you don't have down years. You just reload. And sometimes you just reload. That name in your chest means a lot. You can have two. It doesn't matter. It's your program. Center's trying to be consistent in their program. They've always had great athletes. They do what they do. So this is a program-defining win for Center. Just come out, and it's not just – it's a margin of victory how much you want to – that's how much they want to win. They want to set a margin of victory on their opponent. I don't want to win by a field goal. I know it's going to be a tough game, but you want to beat a tough opponent by a lot of points. That lets me know what my team is. That lets me know my team's focus. You play tough games. Yeah, we were tough. Yeah, we beat tough. How bad did you beat a tough team? Did you dominate a tough team? Did you win in the trenches? Did you win in all phases of the game? that's what Center's going to win the game, but we want to see how well they win the game. Did they dominate the game on all fronts? 35-0 is dominant. Let's do that.
Okay. All right, intern Claire.
Okay,
so with them.
So both band programs are absolutely phenomenal. Tatum Eagles, that is one of the best programs that I saw last year. But Center, it was great last year, but they lost probably 35% of their program last year was seniors. And they lost because they had 12 flutes last year and they got left with 3. And so those freshmen are coming back up. They might be okay, I'm not sure, but Tatum only lost probably 15% last year with it being seniors. So I do have Tatum as winning that game.
That is phenomenal breakdown.
The stat.
I love it. I don't know when the last time somebody won when they lost 9 flutes was, but we might see
give her some time, she could probably figure that one out.
Right. Our base section is low. We got to get our tuba numbers up.
I know, right?
All right, game 9. Gilmer hosting Chapel Hill in top 5 matchup of 2 top 5 teams in 4A. We can talk all day about this one, but I just think Chapel Hill has got a lot coming back. They've got revenge on their mind for the 7-over lackluster performance last year. And they've got 2 guys named Stewart and Brisbane in the backfield. So I'm going with Chapel Hill in this one. What do y'all got?
Well, I'm going for Chapel Hill as well. I know that's a shocker, but and everything that Brett said, but also the disrespect at the end of the game, after the game that Gilmer kind of gave with the attempt to plant the flag in the middle of the field and that caused a little bit of a problem. And I know that a lot of the players are going to remember that, and they're going to take it to them. It's fresh on their mind. So this is going to be a good game. It's going to be a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout by any means, but I know that Chapel Hill is going to be going after him just for the disrespect that was given at Bulldog Stadium last year.
Go ahead, Corey.
I'm waiting on you, Corey. Go ahead. You
go ahead.
You raise that head back.
I want to go last. I want to go last.
Ready.
I want to go last.
Oh, okay. I'll go. I'm going for Chapel Hill, but I picked Gilmer. I picked Gilmer.
Okay, can we turn him off?
Vince,
thank you for playing your game.
I'm tough. I'm tough on my Chapel Hill team, but it's because I love them. And sometimes you got to say the hard stuff. We got to clean up turnovers. And some of that is mistakes. Gilmer did a really good job last year at capitalizing on those mistakes. But ultimately, between these 2 teams, they both did not play their best games. And Gilmer was able to come out on top. I think, like Whitman said, Chapel Hill is going to be looking for revenge. And I hope they come out and just stomp a mud hole in him. But I'm not going to be on the show and be a homer. I've told Brett and Corey that before. I'm not going to do that. So I want to see how they respond. But at the same time, if I look at if I look at all of the stats and how the games went last year and stuff like that, Gilmer is a tough team to beat. It's not going to be easy by any means. They played Carthage the closest last year.
But Vince, what was the score at the end of last year's game, of the Chapel Hill Gilmer game? Do you remember that one, Brad? Do you know that one?
It was like 50-something to 27.
51-27.
Yeah. So and if you watching that game, you remember Gilmer had a period where they couldn't do anything at one point. Yeah. It just kind of opened up for them over time.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I thought the Chapel Hill defense played a pretty phenomenal game.
It was the first half and stuff.
The 7 or 8 turnovers that happened.
Yeah, they did. It just Gilmer started to pick up, and I think it became too much to overcome.
Honestly, and you can ask the coach this one. You turn the ball over 7 times. How many games percentage are you going to win?
Right.
You know,
it's
Yes.
really low.
And I believe the majority of
It's really
I believe
low.
the majority of the touchdowns scored in the game for Gilmer were mostly in the late third and fourth quarter,
Yeah.
mainly because everything was tired. And yeah, that happens when your defense is on
And
90% of the game.
and you got to
for them to
remember
hold as
too,
much as they
like
did.
that was the first game for both of these teams.
Oh yeah.
And you know, you got to knock the rust off, you know,
Oh,
in that
yeah.
first week. So again, I felt like watching them play, especially the way Gilmer finished the year prior to last year.
Mhm.
I was like, man, they're not playing like I thought they would play. And then I'm looking at Chapel Hill thinking the same thing. They're both trying to get that rust off, and I think Gilmer just was able to finally wake up around that third quarter, like you're talking about. But again, I mean, I'm always gonna grade Chapel Hill hard, but I do hope they win. I'm not gonna lie to you. I hope they win. If they win that game, you don't mistake it, Chapel Hill. I'm gonna be right there cheering and screaming and everything else, you know. But I can't be on the show and say Chapel Hill is gonna go 10-0. I can't do that. I can't do that. I wouldn't be doing the show justice.
I can.
You know, here's the thing about it, and as I hear you guys talking, you guys are obviously a lot closer to the situation than I am. You know, a couple things you guys brought up. Turnovers is I got on my soapbox about this last week. Turnovers.
Yeah.
You got to give other team credit for causing turnovers. Okay.
Absolutely.
Number two is you guys basically were saying that because it was week one and Gilmer was in better shape. Okay. If you're saying that we got tired and all of a sudden they're scoring at the end, the facts are they were in better shape. I mean, truthfully, right?
Oh, yeah.
So, so I guess my question would be, what has changed from year to year to make you think that's going to be different? And I'm not saying it is or it isn't. I don't know. Those are the things I would think about in that situation. Ultimately, for me, here's what it comes down to. I've picked against Gilmer a bunch of times in my life, and they always prove me wrong. How many times do we think that Gilmer's the team that, all right, this is a game they're going to lose, and then they win? And it's happened in the playoffs. It's happened in the regular season. And Chapel Hill is one of those teams also that you're like, man, I don't think they're going to be good, and then all of a sudden they're really good. I think both these teams are really good. I think it's a great quality week one matchup. I picked Gilmer, and I think it's, I mean, you flip a coin to me. I won't be surprised either way. You know, I think that
absolutely.
Yeah, it's one of those tough, and it's one of those tough picks to pick. And I spent a little bit looking at it. I mean, it wasn't a homer pick or a quick pick. It was crud, because I watched both of them in the playoffs last year.
Right.
And I was at Mother Francis Stadium when Gilmer played their playoff games, and I watched Chapel Hill. So yeah, it's a tough pick, and so it is up in the air on which one is which, because you're right, both of them are high caliber football teams. It depends on which one shows up.
For sure.
Is it the first team? Is it that team? But you have, a more mature team this year in Chapel Hill. You have a more mature quarterback and running back than you had last year. The same ones, granted, but they're a little bit more mature. So maybe it's something that'll make a difference. I don't know.
No,
but that's a factor that was taken in.
100% will make a difference. It makes a huge difference for those guys to be back. I don't know if those guys was last year their first year as a varsity quarterback and running back.
No,
they
it was
played
actually their second. They
Okay,
were both freshmen, and that was their
It
sophomore.
was their first full year.
Yeah.
Okay.
First full
Okay.
year.
So that's a big deal. That's probably the first huge game they played in.
Yes.
Right. I mean, even in week one, it's a big deal. And one of the things we haven't really talked about week one, Corey mentioned this a minute ago about there's no film, but also teams are also notorious for in week one, we don't want to show anything that we may show down the road either. So there's two parts of that, right? And one is, this is the first time people are going to get film of you. So what are you willing to not show? What is your goal? When we did the Brook Hill show this week, Brett and I heard Coach Ryle say that we're trying to prepare for later now. So if you're trying to prepare for later now, as opposed to winning a game now, right, which is important, you're going to approach that whole thing differently too. And I think that's something we haven't really talked about or taken into consideration yet is
right.
I'm still not going to open it up, because if I lose my week one game, it does. I mean, yeah, we want to win, but
I don't want to show my hand.
I'm not going to do it at the expense of being prepared for later. And that could come into play with both, because both these teams are going to be there in Thanksgiving and December.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, Corey, I'm interested to see what you got to say.
I went back and I watched a lot of a lot of Gilmer Chapel Hill tape, not just on purpose, but a lot of some of those games online. You can watch them. It's consistency over talent, and I think Gilmer's more consistent. The kids know what to expect. They don't get rattled. Fourth quarter, we're down by 2 touchdowns. Those kids make plays. You win championships. Champions. I've always said championships in the details. Like, what do you do? Like, everybody can block. What? No, but can you block? Can you? And it's when it's fourth quarter, and you need a 48 toss. Can you block a 48 toss to perfection? They do that. If you need a turnover, they do that. They make big plays. Those kids make big plays. Consistency. They're never flustered. I've watched, I don't know how I've watched maybe 10, 12 games. There have been teams that have been in the game against Gilmer. Third quarter, all of a sudden they just start separating. They get a play, they get a steal, they get a pick, they get a rip. Probably one of the best defensive line units in East Texas. Watch them. They disrupt the defensive line. They disrupt the offensive line. Talent-wise, Chapel Hill may have better talent, running back, wide receiver, quarterback. You give them a baton and it's to the house, right? What can Chapel Hill do to win the game? Okay. You have to, and this is what probably Coach Reardon is thinking to himself. This is it. And I've used this analogy before. Once you start a program, you start baking a cake, put all your ingredients together, you put it in the oven. By the time that 5th year is out, you should be serving people pieces of cake. This is when they want to give Gilmer a piece of cake. Like, everything is to the point where we've completed. Like, this is our best. Like, this is everything I put together. I put my methods, my everything I put together in my program. This is it. I'm giving it to you right now. This is not, I won't say my best shot, but this is our program. This is a defining program game for Chapel Hill. You go to Gilmer, you get a win, you tap them on the chin, and you say, you know what? This is what it's like. I don't want a 48-41 win. I want a 38-0 blowout. I want them to know that, hey, they came here, but that's the mentality that you have to go to when you play teams like that. You can't go hoping to win. Mm-hmm. You can't go, well, I expect. You have to play with an expectation to win. You're more talented than they are. You have to play the entire game, and you got to play angry every time. I heard Coach Reardon say something last year, play to the brink of insanity. Play to the brink of insanity. But play under control. Like, if that doesn't fire you up, I mean, come on.
So, Corey.
Like, you come on.
So who's your pick, Corey?
Of course I'm going with CH.
Okay.
Of course I'm going with CH. Right. But at the same time, like I said, it's a program defining game. I want them to play their way. Like Keith said, yeah, they want to plant that flag. Hey, you better be glad I'm not coaching that locker room. You better be glad I'm not coaching that locker room. You better.
That was actually news to me. I didn't know nothing about that.
Every time they do it, they plant that flag. You gotta understand. They like to plant that flag, and you better be glad I'm not in that locker room. That's all I'm saying. And if that's my unit, that's my. Hey, anyway, let's go.
All right, it turned Claire. Give us what you got.
So, as the great Taylor Swift once said, there is nothing I do better than revenge. I know that because I've got friends that were at Chapel Hill last year. They're looking for revenge. They want to win this game. And I like Gilmer's band. I like them a lot. But I respect Chapel Hill's band program better. I know how hard they work. I'm really good friends with their drum majors. Miss Victoria Clayton, my favorite clarinet ever. And I hate the clarinet. But I know how hard they work. They were out there for 6 days straight for band camp on that pavement, not even on the field. And I know how hard they work, and I know how hard those Chapel Hill boys work. I'm seeing it on all of their Snapchat stories and stuff, all of them in the locker room. I just know they're kicking their tails, and they're going to get this dub. I know they are.
All right.
There you have it.
All right. Game 10. This game used to have a lot more suspense to me. Kilgore Carthage, about
Pick
10,
count.
about 10 years ago, you
10
say
years
Kilgore
ago, yeah.
Carthage, and you're
And
like,
it was like,
this is going to be
yeah.
a classic. Who's going
Yeah.
to win this one? But fast forward 10 years, and Carthage is just demolishing folks. They have some games that are going to challenge them on their schedule this year. This is not one of them. I think they're going to handle Kilgore pretty handily. What do you guys got?
I'm going to ask you guys this question: what schools could they be playing that would make you think about who would win the game
Carthage,
in East Texas? Yeah,
Pleasant Grove, and Silsby are my two. Of course, they're kind of edge. They're on the edge. They're in Region 3. They wouldn't play them until state. Those are the two teams that I could see competing with Carthage. And if Carthage doesn't have their game, they could be knocked off.
I don't see anybody.
Texas High.
Well, Texas High is 5A.
I don't know. He said any team in the state.
Oh, okay. I was going 4A on their division is what I was.
No,
either way.
like,
I mean, anybody in East Texas,
it's got to be an upper
could beat them.
class.
Yeah, right. They're going to win the game. They're going to win it big time. Last year was 45-10. Man, but it is kind of sad how far Kilgore's fallen off. I mean, you're right. That was a program that was, gosh, they played in the semifinals or finals. Early 2000.
Well, and the thing is, Jeremy, they've still played in the regional final the last 2 years. Chapel Hill and Kilgore have matched up in that game, but it's just like the Kilgore of old is just they would have been more competitive against the Carthages of the world.
Well, and you just kind of know what their ceiling is now, and that used to not be the case. But Carthage wins a game. And this is almost a freebie for the pick on this. If you lose one, you're going to get one back with this one, unless there are some Kilgore picks on the pick 'em, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like
There's three.
That's sad to me.
Maybe they're new to East Texas. I don't know. Maybe they've never been here before.
Well, I'm with everybody else. Oh well,
could be Kilgore coaches.
Carthage is gonna do it. I don't see anything or anyone, like Coach said. I don't see anybody that can take them. They're dominant. They've always been dominant. I don't see that changing anytime soon, barring natural catastrophe. But they're a dominant program. I think we said it earlier. A program versus program, and Carthage program outdoes any program that I've seen. So Carthage takes this one to the house.
I pick Carthage. I mean, it ain't. We don't even talk about why. It's just Carthage. It's Carthage.
The name is synonymous with winning. That's what it is. I did pick Carthage, but at the same time, we've hinted at this. Carthage may not be the same Carthage that they used to be. I think they don't have the same fanfare. It's okay to take a notch down a little bit. They may not be as dominant, but I mean, you still go undefeated. You're still great. But this is an opportunity for Kilgore to kind of, hey, we ain't gonna be pushed over a little bit. They could come out and surprise somebody. They've got a nice little secondary, nice D1 secondary guy back there in the back. And like I said, no tape on it. This is got a nice, D1 prospect offensive lineman. Offensive line is good. This is an opportunity for them. Do I think they're gonna win? No.
I think the score could be closer, Corey, than last year.
Yeah, like I said, they can compete. They could make it tough for Carthage and not be, because I guarantee they're not gonna come out there and be like, oh, you beat us 48-10 last time. Well, this year is only going to be 38-10. It could be something like that. But I'm still picking Carthage, but Kilgore may come out and surprise some teams.
No chance. Here's the thing. There is film on Carthage. It's from AT&T Stadium in December from however many years, right? Listen, they don't have a chance. Here's the thing. Here's why people believe Carthage is down, because we don't hear about it anymore. It's just what happens now. It's kind of like the sun coming up. We don't know. Maybe we should, but we don't know. Wake up in the morning and go, man, look at the sun. It came up again today. We just know it's going to happen. And now you look up and it's December and it's like, hey, look, Carthage is here again. Who didn't know that was going to happen? I'm just saying.
They lost half their starters. So if someone's going to get them though, maybe early, just finding, finding their way. It seems like Carthage gets better as the season goes. So if you don't catch them early, then
Well, for sure, we could write a book about how many times they've lost half their starters and been back in
And
Arlington.
still,
I mean, at least every 3 or 4 years they lose players.
Somebody, yeah, for sure.
And
You got a good
right.
offensive line and a good defensive line. You probably gonna hang about 8 to 10 wins on somebody.
Yeah.
You
But
can
it's that
run in
program.
December. You can run in December and you can rush the quarterback. You have a chance.
all right, intern Claire, were you one of those 3 that picked Kilgore?
No.
Even she knows the band don't matter
Yeah.
in this one, baby.
Man, don't matter in this one. She knows.
Oh no, Kilgore's band is not that good.
Okay.
Carthage's band last year was absolutely killer. It was so good. They played Queen City, which is like a big chunk of music, not like the little piece of music that they play at the beginning. But we also played Queen City last year. And in order for us to know how they were how to play it, we literally just listened to Carthage play it. So we know how good they are. We know how good they can be. They didn't lose a bunch of seniors last year, but they did gain a bunch of freshmen. So I'm thinking Carthage's band is probably going to win state this year. That's what I'm thinking.
So they're gonna double up. They're gonna take
Win state band and state. Yeah.
Now
There's the answer to best combined program. Then there we go.
Now their FFA program, not the best, but
We're talking about bands and football.
Yeah, but they're pretty good. So I've got Carthage winning that game, along with 76 other people.
I never go for a school that has gray or silver tubers. I always gold. I don't like the silver tubers. I don't like those. I always gold.
All right, so those
Gold
are our
never folds.
those are our pick'ems. Anybody got some final thoughts about week 1?
I think it's going to be an interesting one.
Yeah, it'll be a good week for all the reasons we mentioned. I think the fact that it is week 1, there's no film, everybody's had time to prepare. The new excitement, everybody's 0-0 until Thursday night. And,
everybody's undefeated.
We talked about this. High school kids are crazy creatures when they have confidence, right? And it'll be interesting to see what happens. There'll be a lot of half the state's 0-1 after Friday.
Just hope everybody stays safe with this heat.
Yeah,
man, it's real.
It's supposed to get hot. It's supposed to be again over 100 all week.
Make sure everybody gets our app, the NetSN app. It's available on both the Android and the Apple Store. Also, we have our stuff onto the website, so netsn.live. You can go check out all that. If you're not able to go to a game, we will have a couple of the games on our app and website. Our have the audio-only version of the Chapel Hill Gilmer game on our YouTube channel. Also, we'll have a link for the Texan Live version. It has the video. Our friends from Center have joined our network, and we'll have the Center Tatum game on our YouTube channel as well. So we'll have some games there for you guys that aren't able to make it, or you're at another game and you just want to check it out while you're at that game. So, but make sure you let everyone know about where you heard about this at netsn.live. That's going to do it for our first episode of the bEast from the East podcast, week 1. For Jeremy, Vince, intern Claire, Keith, and Corey, we'll catch you next time right here on the Northeast Texas Sports Network. Not everybody.
Peace.